Up until recent weeks, the field for Oklahoma City's next mayor has been pretty bare bones. And at the 11th hour, 2 more candidates filed, including 21-year-old Taylor Neighbors, an OU student who says she threw her hat into the ring because she feels, quote, offended and insulted. So here to explain to us exactly what she means by that and her vision for Oklahoma City, should she become our next mayor, we have Taylor Neighbors here herself. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. I've been really looking forward to meeting you in this interview. Let's get straight to it. What do you mean by offended and insulted? And we'll start with offended first.
Good. I'm offended, like a true millennial would have spoken it. I'm offended because of the state of politics today on the national and the local level. So on the national level, we see Roy Moore, we see Donald Trump, and we say like, this isn't right? So we need to go in and we need to change this kind of unruly fraternity house that's become politics today. And I know that's really out of our scope, but we never know when that's going to become, or that's going to be revealed as the reality in Oklahoma politics itself.
And it's not just national. I mean, here at the Oklahoma level too, you know, we've had several people who've had to leave office this year. So how do you change that? I know you're offended, but how do you make a difference?
Well, you make a difference by speaking up. And there's been senators, the senator from Alabama spoke up against Roy Moore. He suggested a write-in candidate, and now Roy Moore has not won that election, thank goodness. So we need more people to speak up, definitely more women, more influential women like ourselves.
And you also said you're insulted by this mayoral contest specifically, this one happening right now in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
How so?
Well, I think the last few mayors have been great, but I think that when you put out a new candidate and you say, okay, just get all the endorsements you can and not put up a platform just less than 2 months before the election, I think that's insulting to the common people of Oklahoma.
Are you talking about Senator David Holt specifically?
Yeah. And the more I looked into David Holt, the more I wanted to throw my hat in this election. So you haven't heard a single policy of his? I've heard his past policies. I haven't heard his vision so much for Oklahoma City, anything specific.
And I think whether or not, policies have come forward, there's no denying he's a big name. He's been very involved in this city. And what about Randall, the other player, Randall Smith? What have you heard about him?
I think I've heard the same about him that everyone else has heard about him. It's exactly what's been in the press release, that he's a registered Democrat on the south side of Oklahoma City. Other than that, I haven't heard much about him. So that's exactly why I think David Holt needed a serious contender.
Okay, and let's get to your policies. If neither of these other two are coming forward with what you want to hear, first day in office, so to speak, should you be elected mayor, what's on your to-do list?
Well, I have 3 principles that I think will help to grow Oklahoma City. My first one is that we need to live in the world. So we're already competing with other cities like Vienna, so like regional cities like Dallas and Kansas City, but also these international cities like Vienna and Milan and Tokyo and Shanghai. We're already competing with them. And so now we really need to amp up our game.
And how do you do that?
We invite people to live here. We invite people in industries to come here, whether it's tech, whether it's cultural, globalization. We need to make a bigger vision for Oklahoma City.
And, another thing I wanted to talk on too is you're 21. You're a student at OU.
Yeah.
Are you the youngest to ever file for candidacy here?
I don't know about Oklahoma City. I know there was in Muskogee, we had a 19-year-old mayor who's very inspiring. I need to talk to him and see how he kind of got past this question. But I mean, I'm qualified. I'm 21. I'm registered to vote in Oklahoma City. We have a senator that's in his 80s, and we don't question, are you too old? We need to talk about qualifications, whether or not someone has been in politics or not. David Holt is a senator right now in Oklahoma, but he's also one of the leaders of the Appropriations Committee, and we know that we are $110 million in the hole. The Department of Health itself is $30 million behind. There's 200 people, 200 families on the line. So we need to talk about qualifications with every candidate.
And, kind of what you're saying here, this budget deficit that we found ourselves in, where do we get that money? What would your plan be to fix this budget crisis and move forward as a state to become competitive? Like you're talking about, to bring in and keep the teachers. What's that plan for you look like?
There's the short term and the long term, and we want to dodge the short term, which is taxes. Recently, we brought down the cigarette tax, which would have actually brought in, some are saying $200 million. That would have filled the hole and then some think, right? But that's a short term. The long term is industry. It is training people to go into AI, into learning how to code, into doing these newer industries that are going to be emergent. That's kind of going on to my second principle, which is fighting fires. Yeah.
I did a little research on you.
Oh, good. I feel so popular.
You do have a Facebook page with these principles. Should people be, interested in finding out more? But you're saying, being a firefighter, you're fixing what's, now.
Yeah.
The immediate problems, but not so much what's.
Yeah, the immediate problems are now. They're 10 to 15 years down the line. They're sidewalk ribbon cuttings. They're fixing potholes. They're things that are important to everyone all the time. But being a firefighter is looking 30, 60, 100 years down the line, because the next century is going to have so many problems that we just don't know how to deal with yet.
Taylor, we have one more segment with you coming up after this break. We had a couple viewers chime in. They wanted to know more about your vision for Oklahoma City. So if you'll stick around, we have some more questions coming your way.